patriots. Nigeria call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might, one nation bound in freedom. In freedom. In freedom. Peace and unity. Arise, my people. Arise, my
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You're laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Okudilio, nyekelanio, chukuna malugo yo biadio cha. Agaranya chogo kowe bili, agaranya chogo kowe rienio. Owe chuku bezie chuku. Nuche chukwa busigi fegemeo, nuche chukwa busia ifegemeo. Ni fosolo ne asi alibazie. Oboye bebe agaranya muliba, oboye wuru agaranya mebi besolea, mano agaranya wa. Oboye afyozi enipakwa. Agaranya chogo kowe bili, agaranya chogo kowe rienio. Oboye chikubezi olisa. Kodili ma, kodili bemo, kodili wakema, kodili wanima. Naino kwane we beluge beluo. Kodili ma, kodili bemo, kodili kemo, kodili heyo. Ibedwe me wane, nikadie zibo heyo.
That means you still have to pay for it. And some of these courses, you don't need to send them abroad. What we said in our own case, listen, why do I have to send somebody who wants to study English overseas? Why do I want to send somebody who wants to study economics overseas? Why do I want to send someone who wants to read law overseas? When you know that we have very good faculties in these areas, in Nigerian universities. Now, we thought, if I'm sending you overseas, must be on peculiar, very clear areas that we lack, that we want our people to go and study. Maybe some areas of engineering, maybe some areas of medicine, maybe some areas of agriculture, maybe some areas of ICT, right? So we say, look, for those of them in final year, even that means you have to pay for it. And some of these courses, you don't need to send them abroad. What we said in our own case, listen, why do I have to send somebody who wants to study English overseas? Why do I want to send somebody who wants to study economics overseas? Why do I want to send somebody who wants to read law overseas? When you know that we have very good faculties in these areas, in Nigerian universities. Now, we thought, if I'm sending you overseas, must be on peculiar, very clear areas that we lack, that we want our people to go and study. Maybe some areas of engineering, maybe some areas of medicine, maybe some areas of agriculture, maybe some areas of ICT, right? So we say, look, for those of them in final year, even
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. As they always say in pidgin English, this life no balance. This life is no balance at all. At all, at all. You heard Wike there. His son just graduated Masters LLB in Masters in Law. And here is the man saying, you just heard him, according to internet on the line. There's some things we will say we can take back, and there's some things we will say we cannot take back. So, what happened to the educational system in Nigeria that his son could not read masters or could not study masters in Nigeria in any of the Nigerian university? Let me see that I'm quoting it very well. In any of the Nigerian university, I would like to read from what he said. Happy to witness alongside my wife the graduation ceremony of our son Jordan, who just earned a masters of law (LLM) degree at the Queen Mary University of London, UK. As a father, I am happy for the progress Jordan is making in the pursuit of his career. So, as a father, you are happy for the progress. I will rejoice with you, but there are several questions. I believe most fathers in Nigeria will like to say the same thing that you just said about your son. Or most parents would like to say the same thing. If uh, you and others who have been in position so far in the country have the heart of Nigeria, the fix the country. The country is where people go to school, apply to go to school for 4 years. They spend 7 years, sometimes 10 years if care is not taken. Well, how were you able to afford to pay for his university? I don't know, maybe he was working. I don't know what was his first degree. If it's in law, where did he study it? Even if he studied it in Nigeria, this and that, why couldn't he do the same masters there? That's him saying, why would they send somebody to study law in overseas? But you sent your son to go study, do his masters in overseas. So what's the difference? That's the question Nigerians should be asking Wike in terms of what is the state of our educational system in Nigeria? What's the state? I mean, this is the same thing we keep saying. If these leaders our have the citizens in their heart, and why would the citizens continually to patronize such leaders and fund them and praise them? We saw Yaya Bello, who paid using the people's money to pay for uh, uh, his own kids until they graduate from the U.S. School in Nigeria there. So The ordinary citizens can't even afford to send their school, their ward or their people or their children to school. However, you guys are able to send your own to school. And despite saying that, you don't see any reason in sending uh, anyone to go study law or law, English, economics. But the environment you people have created, you've not created that enable environment for the ordinary man to study English or economics. And they don't even have the money to send their own children to abroad. So if you are saying that you're happy with your son, the progress Jordan has made, I mean, respectfully to him, how about what do you want other parents to say? What do you want other parents to say? Yeah, thank you very much for correcting me. Oriaku Tokwe, it's American International School in Nigeria. So that is where we are today. The painful thing is when we citizens see these things and we have this indifference towards, we still show this indifference. It's saddening my heart. It's saddening. Recently, Ayabelo went back, and if you see the way Nigerians or those in Kogi State, I believe it's in Kogi State, we're kind of uh, praising him, singing his praise. KJ, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Uh, did you see the video I played earlier? Okay, it's gone. It'll be back soon. It's so. What do we do? During the COVID era, schools were shut down for what? For almost 10 months. Both primary, secondary, and even the university. Schools were shut down. The government did nothing about it. But even though schools were closed in overseas, students were still attending classes online. That facility was there in Nigeria. And that is why your son was able to graduate, because I don't know how long it took him to study the masters. KJ, welcome again. I don't know if you watched the video I played earlier.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. Uh, the title is why do I want to send someone who wants to read law overseas? That's Wike's own words.
Yes.
His son just graduated.
Yeah, I saw the pictures.
LLB in law at the Queen's University, United Kingdom of the UK, if there's anything like that. Now, let me play the video again and let me to weigh into it.
Okay, sir.
That means you have to pay for it. And some of these courses, you don't need to send them abroad. What we said in our own case, listen, why do I have to send somebody who wants to study English overseas? Why do I want to send someone who wants to study economics overseas? Why do I want to send someone who wants to read law overseas? When you know that we have very good faculties in these areas, in Nigerian universities. Now, we thought, if I'm sending you overseas, must be on peculiar, very clear areas that we lack, that we want our people to go and study. Maybe some areas of engineering, maybe some areas of medicine, maybe some areas of agriculture, maybe some areas of ICT. Right? So we say, look, for those of them in final year, if
You've heard from the horse's mouth.
Yes, I see. That was when Wike was still in the making. At that time, he had not become a lord. So, yes, and so he was still a bit humble at that time. At that time, he was still very human, but now he has risen to the terrestrial. He's now joining and dining with the lords of the ring. He himself being the chief lord. Consequently, the mere mortals can no longer utter anything concerning him, Wike, or his affairs. That was when the law had not been given to him. Now he owns the lady that is the Lady Justice belongs to him. In fact, she lives behind his backyard, so he doesn't need to go anywhere to procure, judgment on on his behalf. That was when he was still walking among mere men in the streets of Abuja. Now he walks at the clouds of and on top of the heads of Nigerian citizens. So consequently, his dance has changed. You understand? His tone has changed. His charisma has changed. His understanding of how life should be lived has changed. He has come to a point where he can no longer be able to, be found in the company of mere animals, sheep and goats. He now parades himself with the elephants and the tigers of this world. So you can't blame him. They all are the same until they get to the rostrum. Then they begin to show that they are able to dine with the gods and that you are inconsequential to their progress, not knowing that even the country that they are now oppressing the citizens, they wouldn't have been there if not for the country called Nigeria. They will have no impact if not for the country called Nigeria and how they've been able to bastardize the system. Now you are here mouthing because at that time your children were not able to. They were not up to the age of going to the university. They were not up to the age of going, making those choices. But once they get to the point of making those choices, those your so-called very highly, a canvassed view, have now fallen back to the backstage, and now the new one is that they can now go to Queens to go and read the English law and go and practice in Nigeria. Which is more better, to read law in Nigeria or to go and read it outside? And that's why I say, I have, anybody who is a lawyer should please forgive me, but I lost a lot of respect for people who are lawyers because of Wike. If law, those who the fathers of the law as a profession were like people like Wike who have nothing. In fact, the world can never have justice and equity. But I thank God that people like him didn't start the practice of law, and probably after his reign after he unmounts the rostrum, everything he has done will be carried and put together and thrown to the abyss of history, because he is one of those people. When you listen to, you begin to ask yourself whether Nigeria indeed deserves to be a nation.
But KJ,
Yes.
when would this be? Let's be realistic here. When would this? I mean, sorry, I just highlighted Jordan earned a Bachelor of Law degree from the University of Exeter, same UK. I just wanted to be sure. I just Googled it out. I just wanted to be sure where he had his first degree. He had his first degree in the UK, United Kingdom. Then he has his second degree, same in United Kingdom. After saying that, they would not say. Do you think it because that was his humble days, or it was just playing? It was just saying that while has Wike ever been
No.
humble? I don't know.
Yes, I interviewed Wike when he was Obiakpo local government chairman. He was a beautiful man. He was somebody you could talk to. I mean, I went to Obiakpo because on the recommendation of Rotimi Amechi, who was governor then of Rivers State. Among the people we should interview who can speak on his behalf. So Wike was one of those who went to Obiakpo local government to speak to to interview him in his office. And he spoke excellently. He was very humble. We didn't, even though we had gone, there were just two of us, but we didn't pick all this, this, I don't know how to describe it, what is displaying right now. So somewhere between being a chairman of Obiakpo local government and being a minister, junior minister for education, that is what that interview was taken from. He all of a sudden changed because he realized that, I can also be the kingmaker myself. I can also determine what happens to people. I can also determine how elections are conducted and won. And so because of that, his arrogancy and level of impunity in displaying in the public became, absurd to the point that it stinks. It stinks all the way from Rivers State to Sokoto State. So now these are supposed people who call themselves learned, So when a learned man is behaving that way, how do you expect people like us who are unlearned to behave? How do you expect people like us who don't even know anything? You call us carpenters carpenters and motor park lawyers. How then do you expect people like us who are carpenters and motor park lawyers to now behave if you cannot even uphold what is right? Judging from what he has said, let me tell you, I'm not someone who is open to insult. But when I saw his children, I will not, I'll be straight and forward to you. I mean, I will not lie. I say, at least, at least when the son look like him, it gives me some form of joy. Because if the son can't find, if I for verse pass, at least now, as you carry that kind of face, we can understand. So you have very little to do, I mean, that at least it has some form of limitation. But anyway, that's on the funny side. But on the real side, we Nigerians should be crying. We should be crying. Because if you look at the resources that is open to Nigeria, and you look at the people who are enjoying that resources, you look at what those resources are doing in those people's lives and that of their family, and then vis-a-vis what is doing, what that resources being used for, the rest, number of people of Nigeria, you will weep. I don't know where these people's hearts are. I'm telling you the truth, electricity. I don't know where their hearts, where they are. In fact, when I look at Nigerian politicians, I agree with the Bible that the heart of man is desperately wicked above all things. I agree. If you need to find out if that statement is correct, come to Nigeria. Look at the politicians. And nobody will tell you whether it is true or not. You don't need to do any science. Go to the so-called seat of power, Aso Rock. Go there, take your time to walk around it and see how things are done there. Leave that place, go to one of the minister's office, anyone you choose, go and see how things are done there. Then leave that place, go to the nearest state you can find, Kogi, Plateau, Niger, or Kwara. Go and see how things are done. Then you will now have a reason, just in case you don't have a reason to weep for the Nigerian people, then you will now have a good reason to just weep for the Nigerian people. And I'm telling you, you will use more harsh words than I'm using today to describe these individuals, because they behave as if they brought them from somewhere, not within, they didn't grow in Nigeria. They are not Nigerians. They behave like foreigners. They behave. Look, I was about to do a broadcast, and I probably reserve that until I start that broadcast of the so-called Tinubu visit to Enugu State. I've said on this panel that it's the Igbo leaders that are holding the people. People here, they used to refuse. Now, hasn't it played out? Has it not played out?
Actually, I was searching for, if you know, I was searching for two videos. One about Wike when you said it was, but I can't find it. Seems I've deleted it. Yes, KJ, you are on point. And when you said the heart of man is, yes, I have a very close friend who always tells me that. So we argue about it a lot. And at a point, I said, you know what? We can't really know. But the good thing about that statement, if we read after it, say, "Oh Lord, thou knowest." It's only God that knows the heart of man. And we're going to come to this issue of the heart of man next. I'm going to play a video, which you probably must have seen. I know you must have seen this video. So, and it's good. It's a good thing for us to talk about when you reference to this heart of man. But KJ, if you go by this heart of man, I believe you are referencing to our leaders, about the citizens, our indifference, because these leaders, they came out of us. Meaning that if I get there tomorrow, I probably will be that way if I don't have a change in heart at my present lifetime. And to be honest, it's an issue that is an ongoing issue between me and a very close friend in respect of this heart of man. But let me play this video, then we are going to talk really more about this heart of man that is. I'm going to highlight the scripture as well too.
Okay.
Let me just quickly play this video, and we go from there.
Okay. No, you raise the audio. Go back to the volume. Yeah. Okay.
Most people have no clue that in 2024, the best way to make money with Amazon is not with physical.
For business. For those who are traveling to China, to Asian countries, please be careful, stay safe, wear a mask, use your.
I can bring it back.
Yesterday, just as I expected, I came across one of Nigeria's biggest church leaders declaring 100 days of fasting for Nigeria. He said the country will soon experience peace after the church's 100-day fast is over. Now, it will be completely delusional to think that these people do not know that these prayers and fasting absolutely do nothing to improve Nigeria's trajectory. Yet every new year, we start with these prayers for a better Nigeria. So I'm asking this morning, what more do you want God to do for Nigeria? Because if nations across the world were to argue as to who is God's favorite child, Nigeria will undoubtedly be seen as one of God's favorite children. God gave Nigeria everything, way more natural and human resources than most countries on earth. Arable land, no natural disasters, fantastic weather for agriculture, some of the most brilliant minds on earth, a people with the skills to thrive in any part of the world that we have found. God didn't fail Nigeria one bit. Nigerians failed Nigeria. God gave this nation fertile soil, rivers that flow like veins through the heart of the nation. Nigeria is not lacking in blessings that we need to pray for. It is instead drowning in gross mismanagement. So again, what more do you want God to do for Nigeria as you fast for 100 days? What more is God meant to do for our country? To choose your leaders for you? To help you jail your corrupt politicians? To help you properly utilize all the vast resources that he has already blessed us with? There's almost no nation on the continent that should have been at par with Nigeria in development and quality of life for citizens. If you think about just the wealth we should have from oil alone, take a look at what other countries have done with their own oil wealth. Think of what the Niger Delta alone could look like if we managed our resources better. It's not praying to God to bless Nigeria. He's already blessed us beyond what we could ever imagine. And again, when you are calling on God to save Nigeria, what exactly do you want him to do? God is not going to run your elections for you. He's not going to run your justice system for you. He will not create a better constitution for Nigeria. All of those things were left for you to handle as Nigerians, the best that you could. But instead, we've allowed the worst to rule over us. We've placed tribe and religion over prosperity as a nation. We've allowed the destruction of our institutions by our fellow citizens. God didn't abandon Nigeria. Nigerians instead have laid our bed this way, and so we must lay on it. Your National Assembly members are singing on your mandate, we shall stand. One state governor cannot read his own budget figures. One state governor paid his children's school fees till graduation and is currently being welcomed home like a hero. Where do you want God to step in here? If your governor can't read his own budget figures, what do you want God to do in a situation like that? Again, we have laid our bed. Let us lie on it. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, KJ. do you want me to play it again?
Oh no, I have the video. In fact, I was planning a broadcast with that.
Oh, okay.
But now here's my take, because when I heard the video, and as a Christian, or rather as a follower of Christ, because I'm very careful these days to say I'm a Christian, because that word has become almost like a murky water. I follow Christ, and I follow Christ very closely. Now, fortunately for me, I was listening to one of Shore's broadcasts, and he brought a new dimension I have not seen before, I have not thought about before, which is that the Nigerian people have a jinx in them. A gene in them that's totally different from that of other tribes in the world, which is that we are very happy people. we have the happiest levels of people. And so even in suffering, we are still happy. We can absorb that and pretend or just show that we are happy. That's why Nigeria is also referred to as one of the most happiest people on earth. But having said that, let us interrogate what the reporter or the broadcaster has said said to us. The truth is obvious. God will not do what he has already given us the ability to do. You can't go and buy akpu in the market and egusi and all the ingredients you need to make soup. Then you come and leave it on your table and say, God, you bend down and begin to pray that God should come now, pound the akpu for you, cook the soup, and then give you to eat. He will not do that. And I'm not saying that that is beyond God doing, but he's not going to do that because he has given you the ability. And even, see, let me tell you something, Pastor Andrew. Understanding God have levels. Sometimes people who are in level 1 want to take textbook meant for master's degree and PhD people and read. It doesn't come that way. That's not how spirituality is learned. Spirituality have levels, just like principalities, powers, and wickedness. They all have levels. They all occupy different positions in our strata. So you can't jump, into one without having the cognizant ability to do that. So there are people, for instance, I'll give you an example again in the Bible so that I'm balancing what I'm saying. Elijah was to travel far, and he was lying down under the tree. And after a while, an angel struck him and gave him food. So there's possibility that God can give you food when you are in a place where you are not able to fend for yourself. The children of Israel were in they were in the wilderness, and God gave them manna for many days until that period expired. Having said that, I'm saying that to say that is God not able to do certain things? He can, but he may not, depending at the level for which you know him. Coming back to Nigeria.
Okay, KJ, sorry for interrupting you. I'll just be off camera for about 5 minutes, so just continue. Mr. Tony, okay, welcome. Just continue, please. I'll
right.
just be off camera for
Okay. Now, coming back to, welcome, Mr. Tony. Coming back, and I'm glad you are here because when you are here, and I think the discussion is going to be robust. So it's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, coming back to Nigeria, God has blessed Nigeria beyond measures. We have people who have, who have intellect, who are able to even those who didn't even go to school. Because if you go to Aba and see what people are doing, if you go to the north and see what people are doing, these people didn't even have any four wall of the university. There's somebody who made a noise generator in Abadia. It doesn't use anything. It doesn't use fuel. Just standing in your house like a standing freezer, and it's supplying you light. These people exist in this same environment. So God has blessed us if it's for blessing. But God has also given us leader. But God will not come down and do what he has given us the ability to do. Now, what he has said is true. But that does not negate the fact that there's a place of prayer. There's a place of prayer. Most churches, when the year come to an end and a new year is beginning, they call for prayer and fasting. Most of the time, they're not calling for those prayer and fasting because they are calling on behalf of the nation. Some of them pray for the nation. Yes, I belong to a church in Abuja who used to pray for the nation every Saturday morning. They stand and pray from 6 till 12. They stand. So, but having prayed that, some things have happened. It could be that prayer is holding us together, because I've not seen a country with so much, contrast, and they're still together, and people are listening to idiots talking every day, and nobody is saying anything to those idiots, because whatever they're talking is contrary to what you are experiencing. I don't know any other nation where the leaders sit down and lie and lie and lie and lie. Even when you know they are lying, you still put on your TV and listen to them. You still buy newspapers and read their lies. So everything seems to contrast itself. The question be, why are we taking all this? And I'll leave Mr. Tony to comment on that. Why is it that Nigerians have developed elasticity? In fact, even in physics, they told that the elastic, it has a, what do you call it, center of equilibrium. I'm trying to remember it now because I read that last in my primary school, a secondary school, where it gets to the point where it can no longer move, after which it cuts. When shall we get to that center that Nigeria can no longer be able to read what is going on in Nigeria? I'll leave you to come in, sir. You're welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good evening. I've been listening. I listened to the video that you played. I had watched you somewhere else. I have also heard about the minister who said that after they're going to embark on fasting and prayer, and after that, things will change in Nigeria. That's not the first time we're hearing that. We've heard it over and over and over again. But you see, these are some of the things that I'm a Christian like you. I'm not ashamed of it. But you see, this type of, I believe that prayer works. But I think we have come to a point where, as Christians, we are almost debasing the faith. And we are almost dragging God into even things ordinarily that we should be able to handle. Now, when you get to a situation where, I mean, when the Israelites got to the Red Sea and there was no escape and the enemy was behind chasing them, almost boxed them to a corner, God intervened. Now, I know that we have had so many critical situations in the country where not many countries would survive if they go through some of our trajectory. So yes, so I can say yes, to that extent, yes, God is helping, but I think we have left quite a lot of things undone that we seem to be blaming God. Somebody, a policeman kills somebody, or somebody dies in a police cell. Someone comes, some big man come and say it's the will of God. How can it be the will of God that somebody, is taken to a cell illegally, and whatever happens there, he dies, and our explanation is the will of God? People go for job interview in a stadium, and there's stampede, and a lot of people die, and we say it's the will of God. What kind of God is that? I don't serve that kind of God. That's not the kind of God. That's not my understanding of God. So we have drag God into things that he has absolutely, that has nothing to do with him. Things that we do with our hand, because as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. So, and people, non-Christians, see these things and they make mockery of the faith. And it saddens me, it pains me, because you must give to God what is God and give to Caesar what is Caesar. There are certain things, like you said, Nigeria is blessed all around. As we speak today, in Las Vegas, in places like Palisade and Malibu, there's wildfire burning. People can't help it. Property and things that people have amassed for over so many years suddenly just goes on wildfire due to acts of nature, and there's not much that the fire department can do. We don't have that kind of situation here. We don't have hurricanes. We don't have mudslides, and all the vagaries of harsh and inclement weather. Right now it's snowing. It's weather is really bad. Here it's so cold, so chilly. We don't have those things. So you are not wrong when you say that Nigeria is blessed all around. But what have we done with the blessings that God has given to us? What have we done? What have we done? And then we think it's prayer that is going to solve it. You have to do your bit first, and then you pray. But here, just telling people that we are going to fast and pray and all. Where is all the prayer that we pray since to change the situation?
Again, Mr. Tony, there's precedence in the Bible, you understand, where what's his name, Hosea, is it one of the kings called for a fast when they were against, but that was a direct,
when the enemy came, and then he went to go and
yes,
yes,
that was
the enemy was he looked at the enemy, looked at the size of his this thing,
so he deferred to the authority of God. But
Yes.
this is my challenge with what is going on in Nigeria. Can God change Nigeria overnight? Yes. Can God turn around? But what are we showing? You see, the church itself is the first governmental agency of God in any nation. So if God is going to intervene, and if God wants to come down on Nigeria, he's going to first start the judgment from the house of God, which is the church. The church itself have not, in my own opinion, have not been able to uphold that authority God has given unto them. For instance, the word of the Lord says, Peter, do you love me? He said, yes, Lord, you know I love you. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? Christ, you know I love you, my Lord. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you love me? To the point that Peter was now annoyed. I said, what you know everything. You know I love you. Feed my sheep. What is the emphasis? Christ trying to warn us ahead of time. We are not a place where we collect tithes and offering and build big churches. We are a place where we help to feed the sheep of Christ, not only with food, not only with the word of God as they think, but also with the nourishment of the body. He preached to 5,000 people. He knew if he let them go, they would die of hunger. He said, let us feed them. And he fed them and even had some leftovers. What am I trying to emphasize? The time has come for the Nigerian church to understand that if we are going to be those apostles of the last days, which was spoken about, those who practice what is written, then we should go back from building mighty cathedrals, because God himself does not live in any house built by a man. So it doesn't matter how big your cathedral is, God is not going to be inside there. He doesn't live there. God lives in our heart. So secondly, let us channel those resources that we use in building these mighty cathedrals and employ members of our own, at least your own members. Give them job. Look, I was driving through one street here. The church it's even a Methodist church, Wesley Methodist Church. They give people who they don't know. In fact, you see they are written, everybody is welcome. On Wednesdays and on Fridays, they give people meals. Okay? Afternoon, if you drive in there, you will get enough meal and get enough takeaway that you can take to your house. On Friday, if you drive in by 12 o'clock, you still get. It is open to everybody who lives around there. Nobody even asks you, are you a member of this church? I know another church close by here. Every Saturday, they organize and give. This is America, where you have food is not the problem.
Yes.
Talking about in your own community, where food is a problem. To eat right now is a problem. Your tithe and your offering shouldn't be doing anything now apart from paying salary and giving people welfare. Making sure that that money that the people have all been put in there, you use it to do what the apostles of the first generation were doing. They said they were both living together and none was found wanting amongst them. Why? Because the monies they had was shared. Everything they had was used and taken care of the people. When shall we wake up? If the people are not waking up, ask your pastors question. Ask them question. Time has gone when you stand up and you are preaching and say nobody can. No, say, excuse me, sir. I read this in the Bible. When shall we start doing it?
I don't disagree with you at all. You see, the church is supposed to shine the light. That's what we're supposed to do in a world that is increasingly getting darker and darker. So, and that's my emphasis. Where are the Jeremiahs? Where are the Ezekiels? Where are the Amoses? When the leadership is not doing what is right, the church owes it an obligation to come out to say, this is wrong, this is the right thing. And if they have to die for it, they die for it. But if you're trying to be diplomatic, you don't want to offend this one, you don't want to, and then you say something that people is subject to misinterpretation. They don't know whether you're on this side or on that side, you're sitting on the fence, so that if it goes this way, you say, yes, that's what I mean. Or if it goes that way, you say, no, that's what I mean. I mean, that's not Christianity. If the leader is going wrong, if you can't criticize him openly, you go to him. Well, maybe we don't know. There may be some advice that they're giving to them. But you get to a point where you stand because, people are also looking at you to speak. You get to a point. I see Father Bishop Cooker, from time to time he stands and he speaks on national issues. You know, so and he doesn't care. I'm sure he would have received all kinds of threats. You know, the church must show example, and then part of the example is that you have people who are paying money and paying tithe and paying all those things, and then you build a university and they can't attend the university, but they're the ones that contributed to build the university. You have people who can't even, you know, they hardly find money to go to church, but you have 455 planes just sitting down there. And maybe your excuse is that, oh, because I fly all over the place and so on and so forth. That's not the lifestyle that Jesus didn't have plane, he didn't have car, he didn't have horse self. Now like they use, you know. So I mean, we have to be exemplary. Some of them, you look at the cars that they drive, you look at the clothes that they wear, and then they like people to come down and lie down for them and call them big names and so on and so forth. That's not an example. A minister is supposed to be a servant. That's what he is. He's a servant. But now it's so when people they now look at it every day. It pains me every day when I see people, they talk about the church. Now they say the church is the problem of Nigeria, which is not true. But it's because of the way people look on them to show example. But they are not. But that's not to take away from the fact that there are still people, there are still churches, there are ministers that are doing great things. But you see, we hear the bad news. But what I don't like is for someone to come out and say to you, okay, tithe is 10%, but you can increase it to 20 and 40. And where are you basing that from? Which scripture is that? Now that people are suffering, why not ask them to reduce the tithe? Why can't you ask them to reduce the tithe to 5% or to 1% on account of the fact that things are difficult and people don't have jobs? And some of them, they have a list. I know churches where, you know, they have a list. If people come for burial or come, they now bring out the list and see whether your name is there, whether you are paying. What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah.
So what light are you showing? So when people begin to criticize the church, you know, sometimes I feel bad. They don't criticize the mosque as much as they're criticizing the church. But I feel very bad because there are things that they are seeing. We're not shining the light. If we're shining the light, they won't say those things. What we're giving out, most of us, is darkness. And
I
the church is
agree.
supposed to be the pillar of truth.
I agree, because the church, you see, one of the things that politics in church have done to us as Christians is that it removed us from responsibility and put it on the building called church. Because when you say church, your mindset goes to a building. If they had left it with the original interpretation, which is ecclesia,
Yes.
of the
They
people,
called out.
they called out once. Then we know. See, when I say ecclesia, even now, those of us who used to belong to Orthodox churches, we know that ecclesia is a heavier word. When they say the ecclesia is meeting, you know that something spiritual is about to happen, because they don't use that word ecclesia meeting easily. So the ecclesia still carries the name and authority with the first church. But church now, if you say church, oh well, anytime you talk about church, I think of one big Roman Catholic church, or one big CMS church, or one big Pentecostal church. Your mindset reduces it waters it down. Now coming to the Nigerian situation, those who say Nigeria, the ecclesia in Nigeria, the church in Nigeria is a problem, don't even know what I'm talking about, because the church itself has helped to block out some of the things, have helped to intervene. I know some churches who have special riches for people, even though those people are not talking about it, but they meet and they set up businesses for people. In fact, what this particular church I'm talking about, that I know I've done a documentary on, is in Warri. Okay, it's in Warri. It reaches out to members. All its members are doing something. If you're not doing something, you are encouraged to go and learn something or do something, and they give you a loan to start your business and all that. That church is still rolling, and that church is quite big in Warri. But coming to what this reporter have said today, the question is, when shall we hold people accountable? Paul held Peter accountable. When Peter was trying to do this way, that way, Paul said, no, sir, you were doing this with us. Why are you trying to do this?
Openly. He did it. He didn't do it in hiding.
No,
He criticized him.
you cannot do this. let us stand with what is truth. And he didn't mince word. He told him off. Are you a hypocrite? You can't do this.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
This time has come when we should look at our leaders and say, sir, with due respect, your authority remains. But I want to tell you something. This thing you are doing now is not in tandem with the word of God that you have been told. At this time of national crisis, hunger, and all kinds, you people should change your style of doing things. The welfare of the
They will
people.
send you away from the church,
It doesn't
and they will
matter.
give you all kinds of names, and
See,
everybody will come down on you because you are telling them the truth.
I'm not afraid of being sent away because I'm not worshiping any church. I don't care. I follow Christ. That's why if you listen to what I said earlier, I say I am very careful these days not to say I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. And if you don't want to hear the truth, then don't ask me because I will tell it to you black and white. You know, and that's why I like. There was one Catholic bishop, Bishop Okonjo, son Anthony something in Lagos, Okoje. At that
Cardinal.
time, he was taking on the military. I was still a Catholic at that time. He was taking on the military. He would tell them to their face. Today, we used to have an Idahusa who used to go and tell them the way it is. Today, none of these people, because they are all, I don't know for one reason or the other, can't speak directly to these authorities and tell them. I know that some of the people who have spoken are pastors, but those ones don't carry the same weight as these other big people will have carried. I know that Oyedeko spoke so long before the election, but that's not all. We cannot speak and then go and sleep. Now we have spoken and it didn't happen the way we want. What is our next step to bring the Nigerian people to a place where the church can be of a social desire for them? We're not trying to say let us run a social system, but we're saying let the church at this point see how it can help the Nigerian Christians. See how it can help not even the Christians, but the Nigerian people, whichever domain the church is situated. If one church starts this, many others will follow, and even the mosque will follow. And in doing so, when you make the government irrelevant, they will have no reason but to turn around. Remember, the reason Constantine changed all the things was because the church became more relevant than his government. Because the church were meeting and they had everything in common, and none of them were worrying them. So if you say you want your tax, they collectively pay you your tax, and they continue doing what you are doing. So the desire was, how do we get these people to join us in this government and support the government? Because we have seen that whatever we do, it doesn't bother them. They are eating well, they are doing everything, they are still going to their churches. So Constantine brought this devilish plan of his that have turned the whole thing upside down. So what am I saying? Sorry, let's welcome the Blackstone, who is also the Bishop of Germany. You're welcome, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Greetings.
the Archbishop of Germany. You're welcome.
Happy New Year to you all.
Greetings. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Archbishop.
Please, I'm not Archbishop, but will not put me for that category. Now you be the best Archbishop of Nigeria now.
You don't want to accept your position
again. From Nigeria.
Eh?
So I'm going to be the Archbishop of Nigeria now.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. I'm enjoying your discussion. So just continue.
Okay. So thank you, sir, for coming in. Yes, Mr. Tony, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I just think that over here where I am, every Saturday we hold what we call pantry, and we distribute food to people, you know, and we even get state support, because they see what we're doing, and so they give us some funds, because we're trying to impact the community. The church is a community church, reaches out to people, not minding what your denomination is, and that's part of evangelism, because you are demonstrating the love of Christ.
Yes.
I know the two. When I used to be in Nigeria, my local church back home in Oregon, they have a benevolent department. They minister to widows, they minister to people who are in need, they help people who have genuine needs, like they can't pay their house rent and so on, people who are unemployed. They have a job club. They try, try to see how they can get them a job. And they pay you for a while.
Where was that, sir? If I can ask.
Yeah, that's the household of God. It's in Oregon.
When was that? Which year?
I left Nigeria in 2015, but I know that the church does all that, and they still do it. I know recently,
Yeah, household of God does that a lot.
So
yes.
why I'm asking is this, that with now with the poverty rate in Nigeria now, with all the others to say, so won't the social would be they be overwhelmed with all these things? That's one of the problem I see in that
No,
Nigerian
no.
state today.
What the church does is that they don't just give you the screen. They have a benevolent department. So if you come and you have a particular need, they investigate the screen and they treat people according to their needs. And then they help you. It's like a car whose battery has run down. So those old cars, manual cars, they just help you and push you and push you and push you. And when you start up, then they leave you. You can go on your own. So they intervene in various. They take people's needs, their needs that are very critical. People who can't pay school fees, people who have need, widows. They try to start them on something that they can do, and so on and so forth. These things people don't know. They give cars. They've given cars to people. They feed people. And so on and so forth. But what I'm trying to say is that that's an aside. It's the church is there to attend to the spiritual needs of the people, but along the same just following what Christ did, because sometimes we know how he fed the 5,000. I mean, you can't preach to people when they are hungry, so if so
Okay, if I to say something in this regard, right? So because we are a part of that ministry, a part of that church, that's where you know what we are doing. I was talking to a friend last time. I was talking about Oyedepo and everything like that. So the person was telling me that there are many things that they also do in that church that people doesn't know. So they have some scholarship programs. They employ people. Even there are some people into their university who have scholarships. People cannot pay they who have come from a very poor families, cannot pay their tuition fee and everything. The church are responsible that people that they are helping and so on and so. So this is what it is that I said maybe we are directly involved in it, or in that church or in the department in the church that we know what is going on actually. So I think that someone does some of these things, but we don't hear about them because we are not involved in that church. It's understanding. I know that it's not a blanket something whereby everybody they do for everybody. You understand me? But
all right, I think it's frozen. All right. Thanks for your. Okay, it's back. No, go ahead. You
so
got me.
that's what people. So except you are in that church or in that department, that's when you know some all these things. You understand me, right? So sometimes you cannot just make it maybe a blanket statement that churches doesn't help. They do help. Churches does help a lot of people. You understand me? They do provide for a lot of people, but we outside that church, outside that ministry, that are not involved in that ministry, not involved in that church and everything, we don't know these things. Except the members who are there, who are involved in all these things, that we know some of these things the churches are doing. So what I'm trying to say is that we can just really add that these big churches or universities, so they don't render help or support to people. I think in one way or the other, we are somehow wrong. But I would not say 100%, but we are somehow wrong because we don't know what is going on within that ministry or within that church.
You are making a valid point, but nobody is making a sweeping generalization, But you see, you are supposed to be light. Nobody have lights this thing and high seat, where people can't see. So there's some sort of visibility, So if I take my local church back home, there's what we call grace award that we do every year. The church started it a long time ago, and it identifies people who have contributed in a special way to some contributed something to the growth of the nation, and they give them Caris award. And then apart from that, they also give people like the Pacelli School for the Blind. They give them money, and they identify some organizations that the church gives money. It's been doing it on annual basis, and this is future. It's as an open thing. People come. Part of it is on television. So the church cannot be doing something and is not visible because they're supposed to be light. So how can you, if they're doing things that people don't know, how are they shining the light? There are things that people see, and based on what people see, they comment. So if they see the minister And I'm not trying to run down any minister. If they see the minister behaving in a way that is worldly or saying things that are not in tandem with scripture, that's not shining the light. So people will comment.
Tony, let me answer the Blackstone. How come now when they want to drink water and do their social media site to be open, they will broadcast it, they'll stream it live, and millions will watch. So when it comes to what they are doing, hold on.
Yeah.
I just told you about the Methodist, Wesley Methodist College, Methodist Church. The signpost is on. It's not. I'm not a member. It's a signpost, electric billboard. They are saying all are welcome. Meals, okay, hot meals. When Thursdays, Thursday, Wednesdays and Fridays, 12 noon. All are welcome. You come, you take your hot meal. Now, other churches, just like he has said, that gives, that have food pantries. Look, you'll be surprised at the people who are there. So they are not also looking for members. Are you a member? No. Some of those places, when you go, you see people who drive some of the best cars, Range Rovers and the rest going down. They come there, they collect food. It's not a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So, I'm coming. Nobody is saying, oh, Oga, I go come start for you and they collect food with this your big car. Because you don't know what the people are going through. What we are simply saying is, cater to the people around your community, wherever your church is. Cater to them for now. There's no need for you to come back and tell us hold on, sir. You are giving 200 scholarship, 2,000 scholarship. Good, you are doing that. God bless you. But now those people are giving the scholarship. They need to eat so that they can even wait and see their children that are training in those schools. Look, first things first. What is good news to a hungry man? It's food. It's nothing else. It's not the scripture. A man is hungry, you give him food. Don't tell me, don't bring these things. No. A good news to a hungry man is food.
Every ministry have the way they do their own thing. Everybody cannot go through the same pathway. Wait, no, that's the fact. Every ministry have the way they do their own thing. You understand me? I don't know. I think Tony. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, gentlemen. Sorry, hold on 1 second, please.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, please. I've read everything. Let's look at what is on the screen there. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. He didn't say the heart of KG or the heart of electricity. He said the heart is deceitful above all things, meaning is referring to everyone, regardless of our religion, tribe, race. So, yes, the video that was played refers to 100-day fasting, that peace will return back to Nigeria. We know that is fallacy. That is not true anyway. And also, we also have to look at it again in supporting what is going on. And I agree that we are the light of the world, but we've not shown that light at any point. Tinubu is not a Christian, neither is Wike. The video that was played earlier, Wike maybe is a Christian, let's put it that way. We don't want to judge whether, we don't know who is going to heaven. I probably will not make it, and Blackstone will make it. So we don't know. But however, it is about the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Now, I want us to narrow this to the citizens who are supposed to respond, or to is their indifference, does it constitute to wickedness to one another, that we don't love one another, and as such we don't really care what is going on, as long as it favors us. I repeat, if it favors us, for example, let me set an example. Let's assume my brother is Wike, for example, and I'm benefiting from him, so I don't care what happens to the rest of the citizens. I think we should focus on that issue in terms of the heart of men, and how can we change, because the narrative or what is going on in the country right now is crazy. And I mean, it's crazy. Most of you must have heard what Felix Smoker came out. We'll go there. After we finish this, we go to what Felix Moka said about Peter Obi, that Peter Obi is a prophet of doom. So we'll talk about that. But in the context of this, the leaders came out of us, meaning they are me, they are you. It may sound offensive, but I apologize. How do we deal with the citizens who are meant to hold our leaders accountable, but we are not holding them accountable?
Okay, can I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the heart of man is desperately wicked. So the heart is desperately, and nobody actually can know it. That's the word of Jesus Christ. Actually, all human beings have the same heart, but it is the law that has been used to contain the wickedness of man, right? And since Nigeria, those that are supposed to implement and uphold the law are not doing it. So there's no way we are going to see that wickedness not to see that wickedness taking place or people perpetrating it. Because if, for example, now you arrest somebody and you know he committed a crime and the police know he committed a crime, and somebody come there and pay them and they release the person. What is that? The police are supposed to uphold the law or to put the law into work. They're also the one that's also making the law not to work, so destroying the implementation of the law. You understand me? So I think that as long we have very weak implementation of the law, and also the so-called do you know who I am? I can do this, I can do that.
Okay, it's frozen. Okay. Let me ask you something, Blackstone, before I go to Tony. Okay, let me ask you. You reference the police who are meant to uphold the law, but according to the Constitution, it said we should not give and receive bribe. Should citizens give bribe?
Yes, citizens are supposed to give bribe, right?
Okay, let's focus on that. No, let's focus on that. Let's focus on this in trying to change the nation, if possible. If every one of us decide not to give bribe, don't you think that could be a catalyst for change, a start for change?
Yes, of course. That's what it's made for, actually. But who are you giving the bribe to? The one that gave the bribe.
No, forget who we are giving the bribe to. Listen, forget what giving. We know we are giving the bribe to police or officials. I'm talking about the giver now, not the receiver. Because if the receiver asks you and you refuse to give, it's going to lead into something. But if every one of us who gives refuse to give, do you not think that will start a revolution? So let's focus on that.
Okay, let me say. Okay. If for example, everybody, it's not everybody that has a strong heart or a strong mind to face the consequence of not actually. If you are in a situation and you know that in this situation that you cannot come out of it except to give up something. You understand me? And you don't have the mind or don't have the backbone to stand and stand your ground. What will you do? And you know that in this case we are innocent. Or if you are not, if you are not innocent, right? But you face a situation whereby you are not, you can't come out of it. You understand me? Except you have to go through a route, maybe not even big from your own mind. You understand me? So there are some pressures, there are some situations whereby you think that you are involved, you are in. That you have no choice. Because even the people that are arresting you, they know that you're not supposed to give bribe. They know that you are right and everything. Because they want you to give something, they will that turn the law against you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tony, do you agree with Blackstone?
Yes, partially, because what you are talking about, focusing on now, is moral ethos and values in the society. Unfortunately, we have a society where values are broken down, the enforcement mechanisms are weak, the institutions are not working. What is trying to say is that there are situations. I mean, I've had that situation. You are driving You are going home, you're on the highway, and then you are in the police checkpoint, you are just alone, and the police stop you, your particulars are okay, everything is okay, and they want to stop money from you, and they say, give us money. If you, and you look right, look, you are the only person there, and they are threatening, if you don't give us, we'll kill you, and say you're an armed robber. What do? You say, no, kill me. I mean, you know, there are situations where you are kind of compelled to give, and then you can go and report later on, you know. But the point that is, you know, I see you are making is that, you know, if our value system, if our laws, if our institutions are working, then these things will not happen, because if you do it, there is sanction. And so that's the aspect where we have to work on, because it's not, even if I refuse and the other person refuse, they will kill people, and then they will tell you it's an armed robber. I mean, we hear somebody who was owing someone, and then the person, because he has some connection, you know, called in the police, they arrested the person, they locked him up, and then the next thing we hear, the person is dead. And then we see one big man go to and visit the family in Ilorin and saying, well, I commiserate with you, but it's the will of God. You know, and he has already judged the situation. They have not investigated. So he has already judged it. He has foreclosed judgment. I mean, he has foreclosed any investigation by saying it's the will of God. Because if you say it's the will of God, that means nobody is wrong. That means it's God that did it. So I think the moment we begin to do the right thing and begin to say, no, this is wrong, we'll have to investigate. And then whether a letter comes from a big man or from someone, a guy at the top, you put it aside. In fact, a guy at the top will not send any letter, because you must let the institution for. That's why we have laws. Laws are meant because they recognize that there are people who want to be deviant. There are people who want to cut corners. There are people who would not want to do, you know, follow the constitution and do. So if you set laws and say you are going to use beavers, and then at the end of the day you don't use beavers, and you told people you are going to use beavers, and you begin to, and then at the end of the day people are disenfranchised, you know, and so on and so forth. So what do? People have voted for what? So what are you going to do? You know, so the institutions are weak. We must begin to recognize that for things to work, we must follow the law. It's as simple as that. You have to obey the law. That's how we can build a decent society.
Okay,
But
this institution. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
But if we're doing things because my brother is a big politician, and so somewhere, so I ask you, who are you? Do you know who I am? And so on and so forth. It's not going to work that way. That's why you find out when my brother is a minister or is the president or somebody from my state or from my ethnic group, I support him, because I'm not looking at the merit of the case. I'm looking at something else. But if you cultivate the habit of not caring who is there, so long as he does good, what is good for everybody, because if a system works well, it benefits everybody. But if it's lopsided, there are people who are going to be cheated. And eventually, after a while, you have people who are disgruntled, and they are going to cause problem for the system. That's what we are seeing here. You know, so if we continue to operate this way, it's my turn, it's not my turn, is this person's turn, is that person's turn, then we're going to have problems. Ordinarily, we shouldn't care. There are places where you have monarchs, one family ruling for years, and the people are happy. They don't care so long as they get the good things of life, and everybody is treated well. You know, so these are the critical issues. And then when things go wrong, we run to the church. We say it's the church, or we say it's this one. We say it's this one. But we have not done the things that we're supposed to do. So both leadership and followership have a problem, because the leadership is from the followership. They don't come from heaven. They are part of us. You know, so until we decide to do the right thing, then we're not going to prosper. We're still going to be doing all this. You can change the constitution. You can go back to regionalism. You can pray from now till tomorrow. You know, if you don't do the right thing, there's not the garbage in, garbage out.
Thank you, Mr. KJ. You've been in the field for long. You're a journalist and all these things. The focus is the role and responsibility of citizens. And I can understand the argument Mr. Tony and Blackstone made, that our institutions are weak. These institutions don't run themselves. They are human beings that run these institutions. So when just the same way we say the church is not a building. The church is human beings. Also, the institutions we are referring to, these institutions are not building. They are human beings that run the institution. So we're talking about the role, the duty, the responsibility of citizens in not giving bribe. Why can't we stop giving bribe with the hope that it will start a change? That is what is on the ground. Not about the leaders, not about the institution.
Okay, I think the emphasis here should be on what Mr. Tony has said. If the institution is strong, you know you can get justice. I'm now going to speak like a practitioner who has lived in Nigeria. The only way you are driving in Nigerian road and you not give bribe, it depends on one or two factors. One, if you are going to the east, that your number plate is another number. Two, that the number plate may be a Lagos number or Abuja number. Now, when those ones are there and you understand some few language of Hausa, you probably not be asked so much. I'm talking practically now as a practitioner. When you ask this question, I ask myself, I try to search through my head to see whether I have ever been given bribe. And I thank myself that I have not given bribe in Nigeria throughout the years I lived. There was a time I met a very stubborn security man, and he was insisting, "Oh God, we know say una get Abuja. Oh yeah, find out something. Your boss are here." I tell and say nothing. No. He said, "No, oh God, we're not gonna let you pass." So Sean, sir, Sean for God, everybody, Sean. Hey, that one they go stand attention. They go greet you 2 times. Hit leg for ground bar. I whispered to the guy, say, "Dog, no, they eat dog." He said, "Oh God, I will not say one of us. Oh yeah, they go." All because
you play while you're there now.
I'm coming now. I'm not coming you. All because my number is an Abuja number. It's a big car. It's tinted. You don't know who I be. That's the only reason. And that language, dog, no, they eat dog, is their usual term. Is their term they use for each of the different agencies. Okay? Now, why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say that it's almost practically impossible for you to live in Nigeria and not give bribe. If you are a businessman and you are carrying your vehicle, your goods from one place to the other, you must give them bribe. If not, they will delay you there. And when they delay you there, remember that you have hired a trailer. The demurrage of the trailer, you probably had paid for 3 days. They are delaying your trailer. If they add one more day, you don't only pay for the demurrage, you go pay the driver, you go pay other costs. So in order to avoid all that, they will say, Oga, we not say no carry contraband, but you must. So you have no purpose, no reason. Let me tell you how it happens. And I'm being practical here. No trailer driver, bus driver, taxi driver in Nigeria that is traveling across states that don't change money, change maybe 1,000 naira or 5,000 naira into 10 naira bills and put it inside your pigeonhole because you must need it. If you carry goods, you must pay. If you don't pay police, you go pay those who what they call themselves produce control board. They are everywhere. If you don't pay them, you will pay local government because you go from one local government to the other. They will say, Oga, you don't get this sticker. This one now for this local government. This one not be national. I will not say you get all the national sticker, but this local government one, you don't get them now 5,000. You must pay. I'm telling you, these people we have written, who have complained, who have shouted, they are there. Let me give you another example. It's still there till tomorrow. If you are traveling from Abuja to Jos, there's a place called Forest. If you reach Forest and they don't trust, they know they can identify you as maybe a government official or somebody high, they will leave you. But every other commercial vehicle passing, you must drop something in Forest.
Okay.
Must drop. That is the system that we have built for ourselves. And until we have a people who want to change it, it will continue to run that way. Thank you.
All right. Let me circle back. Thank you for this. We are the one corrupt. Somebody said, sorry, let me highlight something. We are the one corrupting our leaders, although they have their own selfish needs.
How?
KJ, let me circle back. I just highlighted it. We'll come back to that. Let me circle back to that video we watched talking about praying 100 days and the argument. I think Tony, you and we are the light of the world as Christians. So here it is. We are the light of the world. So if as a Christian you refuse to give bribe and you are one way or the other holding to that commandment or that Christian value, ye are the light of the world. Let your light so shine. Giving bribe, does it shine? I just want a yes or no. I'm going somewhere. Giving bribe, does it shine the light or diminish the light as a Christian? A yes or no? For now,
it cannot be a yes or no question. And I'll start
okay, KJ. Okay, hold on, KJ. Hold on. I've got to. Mr. Okay, do you say? Are you saying it's not? It cannot be yes or no too, Tony?
The answer is quite straightforward. Giving bribe is wrong. But you see,
okay, so you will expatiate later. I'll give you time to expatiate. Giving bribe is wrong. So you are saying yes, it is wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
It cannot be right. Never.
It cannot be right. Okay.
Whether you are a Christian or not is wrong.
No. The focus is like I said, I circled back to the video we watched and the argument here at the light of the world, because the video actually was focusing on Christian 100-day fasting. Even though the nation belongs to every one of us, irrespective of our religion or whatever it is. But I just so Blackstone, is it a yes or no to you? Okay, you're frozen. Okay, Blackstone.
It's the motor behind that's making him freeze.
Let me give you a classical example. Maybe I ran a company when I was okay. Let me before I started my company, I was working somewhere where I was the.
Are you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, you're back. Yeah, you go frozen. So it's a yes or no, please.
It is yes. It's wrong to give bribe, definitely.
All right, thank you.
It diminishes your,
okay, KJ.
It diminishes your right, your light actually. So
okay, KJ.
Yes.
You said it's not that straightforward. Now, before you answer the question,
yeah, it's not straightforward actually.
Yeah, I can understand. Even the Bible recognizes that it's not straightforward. I will give an example. Daniel was bribed in all points. He was bribed in all points, but he did not give it. Do we agree on that? He was bribed.
I'm bringing you to understand. You see, I didn't
KJ, hold on 1 second. We're talking Bible here now. Why are you trying to dribble back and forth now?
That's what I'm saying now. If it's the same Bible, I want to quote for you
now. Okay, go ahead.
You see, when we look at things like that, we make a mistake if we pick on it, Daniel. There are many instances in the Bible where things didn't go the way that they were. In one of the instances I like to quote that they came to Jesus to ask for tax. And he did not waste time. No, not even that, not even at that one. They asked him a question concerning money. And he asked them back the question. Say, whose image is on the money? He says it's Caesar. So okay, so you give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give to God what belongs to God. But I'm not saying that I'm saying that to support bribing. I just want to give you a simple example. I was going to Benin Republic to do a story. And I decided that time to just ride through. I wanted to see how the coastal line looks like. So I took I chartered a taxi from Lagos and I was driving through. I didn't have any problem with the Nigerian side. But the moment we entered the Cotonou, someone is talking. The moment we entered the Cotonou side, the driver asked me to come down and give them my passport. So I came down, and while he was driving through, I went into the office. I gave them my passport. The guy opened it. He didn't say anything. He said to me, "Laissez passer." I said, "What do you mean laissez passer?" He said, "Laissez passer." I didn't say anything. I said, I don't understand what you're saying. He said, laissez passer, laissez passer. I said, I don't understand what you're saying. He prodded my distance and dropped it into a distance. I waited for a while. They wasn't doing anything. The colleague I was with said, he's saying that I should put 200 naira there. I said, why? I'm going to work. Do I look like a trader? I'm not buying any of those. I'm not giving them nothing. The guy, they hear me, him and the girl, one of the woman who's an officer also, told me in broken English, it is something your people are doing now. Your people, when we pass, they say, let's see, pass. I say, I'm not your people. I'm a journalist and I'm going to do my work. If you don't want me to pass, let me know. I will go back or I will call your. I want to see your superior officer. So when I said that, the officer now came out from this thing. I spoke to them in French. I guess whatever they said was that this man is refusing to give us laissez passer. You know, that was the only one of the times that I really had to stand my ground. The guy said, laissez passer. I said, laissez passer for what? I said, who are you, please? I said, I'm a journalist. He said, so what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to do a story for your government. So I'm not giving no laissez passer. That's my international passport. It's not an ECOWAS traveling passport, so you can say it's an international passport, so you can see other travel information there. So the man looked at the other people standing behind me, and then said to them, stamp it. He asked me, by the way, why do you want to stamp it? I said, because I want there to be a record that I crossed your border officially. So he said they should stamp it. They stamped it, and the guy just put it in my hand because he didn't get anything from me, and I crossed. The taxi man asked me, why would you waste your time? I said, I refused to give them 200 naira. The man laughed. So you succeeded? I said, yes, I succeeded. So what am I trying to say? Those people who are behind me couldn't muzzle their way through. Will you want them not to go back and not do their business? Maybe some of them, what they are carrying to help people go to the other side is what they will use to feed their family.
Okay.
So if they don't give laissez passer, they cannot cross. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
I get what you're saying, but I think the point here, I think I will have to. Yes, you highlighted the point that you did not give bribe at the end of the day. Laissez passer
Because of my position.
Okay. Laissez passer means laissez passer means where's the document, if I'm correct. Laissez passer means where's the document.
No, laissez passer means where is the 200? You sign for your 200 naira inside the document. I had my documents.
No. Okay. Laissez passer. What is the true meaning of it?
I don't know. I don't speak French.
Okay. From my understanding, laissez passer is asking for what? For your document. If I am correct.
And they had my international passport. So what are they asking for?
People who understand what they meant,
we give them 200 naira.
Give them because why I'm asking this is I was traveling to Ghana years back, and actually I was sitting down there, and my friend who is late now quickly jumped over to the driver's seat and said, "Come on, move to that side." And I said, "Why?" He said, "They are going to ask you for your document. I have the document. It's in my name. It's in his name. But because we switched driving, because of tiredness, we switched driving, then he had to sit back and show." That's how I came to understand that laissez passer means your documents. Okay? Mm-hmm. But this is the point. Okay, you reference Matthew 22:21. Give unto Caesar what is unto Caesar. Now that was Jesus Christ saying that. But is Jesus Christ alluding or suggesting to give bribe? That's the question.
Yeah, so and that's why I said it may not totally fit into this, but what he's simply saying that as I said, time. For instance, I'll give you an example of myself. I was going to do my traditional marriage, and I had told myself I don't drink, and I was going to marry from Delta, and they will give me ogogoro, and I told myself I will not drink their nonsense ogogoro. So just that morning before I left, a pastor friend of mine called me. He said, "Okay, I know that if you get there, they will give you this thing, but I'm telling you, just take a sip of it." Because I can see in my spirit that they're waiting for you, that if you reject it, they are going to make trouble. So at that point, just show appreciation that you appreciate. You don't have to drink the whole glass, but just sip it and drop it. Now that saved a whole, because they planned so many other things that they were about to do. But because I sipped it and dropped it, it broke all their plans. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So
I get you, but somebody may ask you.
Now, the other verse I would have asked for you to also look at is, he said, the Bible says, And this one helped me a lot. Say, deal with all men in wisdom.
Okay.
Wisdom.
If he says deal with all men with wisdom, he didn't say give bribe.
That, hey, my brother, you apply now. Apply physics now.
So, all right, we'll come back, Mr. Tony. Okay, let's go by what KJ's argument that he did not give bribe, which is a good thing. So let's say the population. I don't know what the Christian population is in Nigeria. I don't know the statistics, but let's just assume that the population is about. We have 200 million. Let's say we have about 500,000. No. We have 100, 200 million. We have 50 million population Nigeria. And this 50 million
more than that.
Okay. I'm just giving like I said, I don't know the statistics. But let's just go by the argument of 50 million of Christians in Nigeria decide to tread the path that KJ tread. Do you not think this will bring up about a change and revolution in the country? 50 million Christians in Nigeria refuse to give bribe. Refuse to give bribe, which will lead to persecution, will lead to arrest. Do you not think that will lead to a change? That it will be a catalyst for a change?
My answer is no, because even Jesus did it, and he didn't change everybody. He still had right with him. There still had the Judas who was stealing, in spite of all his preaching. So, what changes?
But in the matter of Judas, it is something that is written to happen. The only thing is the name was not mentioned.
No, that's not true. You are taking God's predestination. You are taking God's pre-knowledge. That's why you are saying that it wasn't because it was destined to happen. That's why it happened. It was because he was a thief. That's what the Bible says. He's a thief.
But Jesus Christ would have been betrayed. Yes or no?
No. You are saying a different thing. You see, we know that is going to happen, but that's not. God is not saying. The scripture is not saying, that's the right thing. We know the heart of man, you just quoted the scripture, the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can understand it? So it's the wickedness of the heart of man. But to answer your question, what I'm trying to say is, you see, no matter how you look at it, there are places in this world where if you drop money, if you lose money, your money drops on the floor. You come back, you find it. Nobody will take it. Nobody will take it. In this world, I'm not talking about 100 years ago. It's still happening. Why? Why is that so? It is morality. It is ethics. It's because the law is working. If they catch you, you go in for it. And the law is working. The law is there for a reason. There's a reason why we're not in the jungle. So now, like you said, the law doesn't operate itself. It's human beings that operate the law, the institutions. It's human beings that make them work. So if we decide collectively that we have to make this thing work because everybody will benefit, there will be one or two people who will want to cut corners.
But that's part of life, Mr. Tony.
Yes.
There'll be one or two people but those one or two people cannot outrun or this is what I'm looking for, 50 million people.
Yes. So the thing that checks them, that puts them to check, they know that they're doing wrong. What puts them in check is that if they are caught, there's penalty. So that restrains people. It doesn't change the heart of man. It doesn't change it. It doesn't remove the wickedness. The wickedness is still there. But the fact that, if you exhibit it, if you go and steal, if you give bribe and you are caught, there's a penalty for it. You'll be dealt with. Just like in the village in those days. If you involve in things that are unethical in the village, you bring shame on your family, you bring shame on yourself, you bring shame, apart from the penalty. So the sanctions, the laws, the institutions that make a society to work, if they are weak, there's nothing you can do. Now, that's why leadership is there. Leadership is now the one to direct and ensure that those things work, and that anybody who falls foul is dealt with,
Tony,
justly.
Tony,
yes,
we are not there in terms of the leadership that that we are looking for. We are not there. Do you agree with me on that? The leaders we are looking for. Okay. In order to get such leadership, I'll come back to you, Blackstone. In order to get such leadership, what is expected of the citizen?
Yes, that's why we have pressure groups. That's why you have civil society. That's why we have journalists. That's why you have the judiciary. That's why we have everybody playing his role to ensure that we do the right thing. You know, so it is our
But you
role.
don't agree with me that even the judiciary is corrupt. We see what happened to Telefaro Timirize. The police are corrupt. The armies are corrupt. Every sector of every sector of the country, the institution.
Every organ of the government is corrupt.
It was not so some 60 years ago.
Okay, Mr. Tony, we are talking about it. If we forget about 60 years ago, we know it wasn't like that 60 years ago. We are talking about now.
That's what I'm saying. When I say 60 years ago, yes. When I say it was not there, it was not so 60 years ago. It doesn't mean that the people who were there 60 years ago were angels from heaven.
Okay. They're
so
not
what
angels
changed?
from heaven. Okay. What changed? I don't know what changed. It deteriorated. I'll come to you, Blackstone. I'm going to switch the question over Blackstone because I asked Mr. Tony, and if 50 million Christians don't give bribe, will it not be a catalyst to change? He said no. Now I'm removing those Christians. If 50 million Nigerians from all walks of life, doesn't matter their religion and tribe, refuse, I use the word refuse to give bribe, and they will face persecution, they will face police brutality and refuse. Do you not think it would be a change for catalyst? I mean, a catalyst for change.
Definitely, it will be a catalyst for change, right? But one thing we have to know about Nigerians, or maybe actually Nigerians, right? Is that Nigerians are naturally, like, when it comes to decision, are weak sometimes in some aspect of decision. You understand me? Because, for example, it depends on the situation you face. Who can we be able to stand and say defend our right? That's when I analyze the question. And if I'm faced with a situation whereby I feel that if I don't give bribe, I will be delayed or I won't let go.
It's frozen again. I don't know what's happening to
because
Blackstone's. Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Blackstone. Are you back or you're still frozen?
And everything, I had to give up my integrity and then give bribe and leave. So that's where comes the question of, do Nigerians, do they have integrity, or can they stand the issue of not losing their integrity? Because Nigeria these days, nobody cares about integrity. Nobody care about who you are. You understand? What they care for is that I have to make my way. I have to find a way to make my way to what I want to have or where I want to go, by crook or by hook. So as long as that issue of integrity is no more there in the mind of the people, or the people don't have that integrity anymore, so they can always give bribe. You understand me? But if the few people that have integrity, there are very few actually. That's if very few people who has integrity who will not give up simply because they have maybe they're in one position, or they are recognized, and the people, let me assume the police, people knows them. You know, that is why people go for titles, pastors, chief, or something like that, you know, because that title give them an edge over the common people, right? So wherever they go, oh, chief this and this, or pastor this and this is here, they have that like a strict pass and things like that. So those are the people that say, okay, the police will won't like respect, guy, you don't come, so on and so forth. They give bribe, they say, oh, we are just helping you. You know, but the common people who have no that title, who doesn't have a backbone to stand and everything, what would they do? So if we can have that integrity and stand on our right and say to give bribe is wrong, you know, then we can be able to fight it. But it will take a while until the institutions and the people who are in those we are dealing with, like the police, customs, the judges and everything. So I think they themselves also have integrity. So it cannot work actually. So it will not stop. So people, nobody wants to give up their life for what a cause that they do not believe in. So that is it. So it will help if 50 million people can say, okay, we are not going to give right.
Thank you very much. All right. We'll go to the next topic, which is this. Come on, what's wrong with this? KJ, this my system is acting up. In case I disappear, the floor will be yours, okay? Bola Tinubu pays US lobbyists 2.7 million to help burnish image destroyed by drug dealing certificate forgery scandal. This is from the People Gazette. Now, the presidency has not come out to what? To deny this. Felix Moka, who is the APC PR in a war of wars with Peter Obi and Obedient, none of them have come out to either debunk, denounce, deny, whichever word we want to use. So until such time that is proven otherwise, we are going by this story that it is correct. Except either of you on this platform say it for the record that indeed it is incorrect. If it's not, I will give you opportunity to say yes, no, and yes or no. Is this statement or this report correct or incorrect? KJ, I start with you.
Okay. I would not know, whether it's correct or incorrect because I am not a journalist that reported it. But I read it and I saw it, and I think to a large extent it may be well, there may be a reason for him to want to improve his image around the world, and it's not a strengthening. It is what government do all around the globe. The only reason is that we already know that what image are you going to launder? Because it's not like Nigeria where people just accept whatever government says. Before any of these people government would deal with you, they would have done all necessary background check. So whether your image is truly laundered in the image in their media doesn't change the government position concerning you. You always be their errand boy because they have something against you. That's why government don't vote for people who have some skeletons in their cupboard, because he who holds a skeleton in your cupboard, who have your skeleton in his cupboard, can always force you to do things that you don't want to do, whether it's in the interest of your government or not. Such a we have seen, for instance, some certain actions that no African can understand, which Tinubu have taken, like going to bring the French into Nigeria, when the French has been in francophone speaking countries for over 40 years, and no meaningful development have come to those people. Instead, they have been impoverished for all these 40 years. What can any reasonable person in Nigeria tell me that's the reason for bringing the French, apart from the fact that there's something that we do not know that's happening in the darkness, So that's where, from his actions, we can actually tell whether this is true or not. And if you ask me, the first thing I would say is, looking at what has gone on in the French country and with France and Nigeria, I begin to suspect, why will you quickly accept to bring these people in, when you know that it has not worked for our neighbors? Do you love them more than our neighbors? Should we love the France more than more than Niger, more than Chad, more than Burkina Faso, more than Mali, more than the other country that have asked the French to go? So it's quite mind-boggling for what the magazine said and what he is himself doing. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Like I said, my system is kind of acting up. I almost ended. I almost ended the show by mistake just now. So, uh, Mr. Tony, without a shadow of doubt, uh, Mr. Tinubu, President Tinubu, was involved in, according to the report, in a drug dealing scandal, drug dealing and certificate forgery scandal. There is no denial of that word. Of that, KJ, I think you have to take over. I think I'm kind of I freeze somehow. I'm seeing myself freeze somehow, but it was involved in this issue. So, in the matter of paying U.S. lobbies $2.7 million to help burnish image. Is it true, in your own view, opinion?
Well, I don't know. I can say for a fact that publication is true. I haven't read it anywhere else apart from that particular magazine. And if it is true, I'm not sure. I can't substantiate the claim that it was to to um, um, launder his image, and clean off all the mess that is associated with his certificate and with the drug thing. So I can't substantiate that. I don't have the evidence yet. Um, it's we'll be looking at the government to see what in a rebuttal or what they're going to say about that. But like as KJ said, there's nothing wrong with countries launder their image. They try, to launder their image, so that they can get benefit from, that will come with, positive.
Okay, let me sorry, let me interject you there. This is not about country. This is about an individual, and the story is, it's there is no denial about the drug dealing. I mean, the money confiscated, $460,000, if I'm correct, and the issue of the certificate forgery scandal. So this is an individual. But let's even say that is the case. What benefit will come to the country in this regard if they is paid to have this record destroyed or image changed? What benefit will come to the country?
Well, there's nobody wants to deal with a leader who that is not respectable, a leader whose image is taken to the dust and so on and so forth. So because it rubs off too on the nation. So if you have the leadership that is, I mean, look at Mandela, for instance, because of the image, the almightiness, as it were, of Mandela. There are a lot of people who want to talk with him. There are a lot of people who want to do business with him, and so on and so forth. And then you have leaders like that too, whose image, rubs off positively on leadership, national leadership. So there's the sense in which, if you have a respectable leadership, people want to do business with you. So if that is the goal, I can't fault him. But you see, these are part of the contradictions that we have within our system. The system that throws up questionable leadership has to pay a price for it, and so that's what we are seeing. I'm not sure that if the story is true, that the president will be using his own personal money. So that's why I said, it has implications for the nation. He's not going to use his personal money to launder his own image. He's going to use the nation's money to launder his own image, because it is not, the benefit is not going to come to him as a person. It may, but generally it's going to come to the nation. So you have military leaderships where people don't want some military leadership, that dictatorship that People don't want to associate with, they call them juntas, they call them all kinds of things. They don't pariah nations, they don't want to, just because of the leadership, not because of the country, because of the leadership. So that's the same way, you look at this particular case. But for me, what I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with a leader trying to launder his image so you appear good. Every leader has skeletons in his cupboard, even Trump has. So, but like I said, I like to see what the government says, whether they are going to deny it, the APC and, government spokespeople, whether they're going to deny it or whatever they're going to say, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much. Like I said again, for the record, until such time that either the government, APC, whatever comes out to deny this allegation, I'm going I am going, not the platform. I am going that the story is actually correct. I have done a broadcast on it. It's accurate. And I'm saying that it is very possible for him to want to do this as well, too. Blackstone, I'm coming to you in respect to this issue. $2.7 million. Mr. Tony, said if he's going to do it, definitely. If he did it, I beg your pardon. It has to be with the government money. Does President Tinubu have 2.7 million personally? Because I personally believe he has that money, or
It's
people around him can raise that money. He doesn't necessarily have to use the government money. So the floor is yours, Blackstone.
Tinubu is a billionaire. Even before he came to the presidency, he's a billionaire. So, yeah, it is possible that the story is true, and most people does it actually. So they pay people to manage their image. First of all, what first they do is to remove all the negative things about him from every social media. That's the first thing they do. So that's the first step they will do to change the image, the stories about him on the social media, and rewrite everything, right? And then from there they do other things and cover it up actually. So that actually the benefit to him is that most leaders would like to invite him, or where you would like to like to visit and everything, they'll do a background check on him and everything. And once they see that they don't have any negative story and a negative story and everything, they love to meet with him. Because I listened to somebody who was saying that whenever he travels to other countries, you see most leaders don't want to associate with him, right? Simply because no leader want to associate with him because of the allegations, allegations or things that have been said about him, written about him, that they know about him. So for that reason, that is why I think he's trying to do it, because he's paying a very reputable company in the US who this is their actual job. So they launder people's image from negative to positive, change everything and things like that. So to him, it's like, if I do this, I will have more access to what leaders. I can be able to sit down and talk with leaders who doesn't know him personally, or what to go do background check on him and things like that. So it is, if they do it, it's positive for the country, also positive for him, right? So because know what leader want to associate himself with a leader that's not clean actually, and things like that, with a very bad record, bad image and things like that, So I guess he never expected to be like this before he came into these things. That he thought maybe everything will just die away when he become the president and everything. So things will just die away like that. Nobody will remember, maybe those allegations, everything will just go underground, But he never knew that it will continue, right? That is why I think he's trying to rebrand his image from bad to good, to be a saint, from devil being devil being an angel, So I think he can pay the money. This no more money. So if the wife can be giving 1 billion, can donate 1 billion to different organizations or different to schools and everything, what is this to Tinubu? This 2.7 million naira, 2.7 million is how much in naira. So
thank you very much. And we'll come to the last part of our of this broadcast, the discussion. APC, Peter B is a prophet of doom, Felix Moka. KJ, Let's say Peter Obi is a prophet of doom. This came up as following Peter Obi's media, addressing the media.
Yeah.
So, go
Mr.
ahead.
Felix Moka, I used to like him. I mean, he's a very brilliant man. Unfortunately, you see, knowledge pops up. That's the problem with knowledge. Too much of it makes you begin to think you have become the eighth wonder of the world. In the first place, he and Peter Obi don't stand in the same position because Peter Obi was, a presidential candidate, former presidential candidate. So Felix Moka, speaking on behalf of APC, shouldn't have even been the one to respond to Mr. Peter Obi. But having responded, I find it very disheartening that a learned person like himself can use those terms that he used, all because Peter Obi was able to articulate his point. For the first time, he's actually doing what an opposition leader should do and put them on. You see, I find it interesting. The black people, especially people like us, when we feel somebody have given us, been able to criticize us rightly, instead of responding in the same, we tend to begin to abuse. It happens on this channel. They insult you, they talk down on you, thinking that will help them to make their point. It doesn't help you make your point, it makes you stupid. And that's what he ended up being. As for whether Mr. Obi is a prophet of doom, is it Mr. Obi that is running the government? The question is simple. What he has said that you people, APC, have run the government the last 10 years, and Nigerians have become poorer. We have even come to the point of becoming the capital, the poverty capital of the world. It happened during your time. If you say PDP was bad, but PDP didn't take us to become the number one in the world in poverty. If you say PDP was bad, the money that you are making during the time of PDP government, today the money you are being paid for, even your 70,000 naira minimum wage, is not equivalent to the 30,000 they used to collect before. So what are we saying here? These are simple arithmetic that anybody can put together. It's not whether you don't like Obi, you must have to find a way to to say something to make him look small. Whether you say want to make him look small or not, you are the one ending up to look small yourself, not the man. The man has given an honest assessment of what he feels. If you don't like it, please do your own honest assessment. He didn't insult anybody. You do your own honest assessment and leave it at that. Let the Nigerian people be the judge of it. But for you to come and say there is a prophet of doom, is looking for how to be relevant. How can someone like Peter Obi looking for how to be relevant? I mean, how? Just tell me, how is he looking for someone? I didn't come out to support Peter Obi when he was there. But I can be able to speak freely without being biased. How can you say you want to make him relevant? This man is a business guru. If he didn't want, he can be traveling around the world with his money and meeting all the business people and discussing. So how do you want to? How is it Nigeria to make Peter Obi relevant? Hey, these people, nothing will go here. Anyway, that's my short list. I don't think Mr. Moka was able to really distinguish himself like I've always respected him. So let him go back to how he used to be before he joined the APC. We will prefer him that way. He was somebody who could sit on the TV and analyze, and you reason with him. In fact, I used to wait to hear his commentary. But these days, he simply just annoys everybody. So let him try and go back to who he used to be. Because APC will come and go, and the Tinubu will come and go. And then the people who has just like, see now, this other man, what's his name? The other former special assistant to Buhari who ran the government, Femi what? Femi somebody. Additional. He doesn't have anywhere to go to now. Okay, you are now parading and hiding and moving around the night among Nigerians because no circle. If you go outside of your circle, people will look at you and insult you. They will look at you and call you Wumu. I think you don't finish. You don't follow Buhari go Daura. You still there here.
Thank you, KJ. When you were talking this, we'll go back. We'll circle back to the Bible again. A good name is rather to be chosen than what? Than riches. For that, the point you made is a very valid point because we soil our name because of money, what we want to get. Forgetting that, like you said, Tinubu will go away one day. Then what will happen to him? It's like this guy, what's his name? Chukwumerije. Is it Chukwumerije? No. This guy that was former Minister of Information.
Lie.
No, is it, no, what's the
Lala Mohammed.
No, is it Laila Mohammed?
Lai Mohammed.
In which
Like,
government now?
I think it's a Buhari government, if I'm correct.
It's a
Lai Mohammed now.
Lai Mohammed, that usually lie. That makes all those lies and everything. That comes out to tell stories and that. So the cuckoo say, okay, that's his name. Yoruba will say, Orupe Loro. That is his name that is worrying him. So, Mr. Tony, Peter, first, let me ask you this. Have you listened to the media Peter B addressing the media? Did you listen to it?
Yes, I listened to his address and I listened to his question and answers.
Okay, let me ask you this. In my opinion, I'll first of all give my opinion. I don't think at that address, whatever he says to Tinubu is advice or suggestion. I personally don't think it is necessary. Personally, because you are not talking, because the man, Tinubu, himself knows what he's doing. Going abroad, taking treatment, that has been existing before Tinubu. Buhari spent most of his days in the UK in hospital while he was in government. The issue of bad roads, this and that, I don't think, because Tinubu himself, he knows this. So I'm throwing it back at you. Do you think it is necessary? Even though what he says are true, there is no lie there. Everything he said was on point. Do you think it's necessary, or Nigerians don't know these things that P2B said?
Well, I think everything that will be said is necessary. See, this is the problem with Nigeria. The present government came with a renewed hope, and yes, and if you are trying to give people hope, there are certain things that you have to do. I listened to Obi, and I listened to the press conference. I mean the question and answers, and he ended by saying, "God bless the president. God bless Nigeria." You know, Mozambique just held an election not long ago, and in which the ruling party was declared the winner with 75 or 76%. The opposition felt that they won, and they refused to accept the result. They called out people, and at the last time I checked, over 300 people have been killed, property destroyed, and so on and so forth. And it continued every day. Opposition said on this January 15th, it will declare, maybe they will declare themselves, the actual victors. The election was reviewed, and they found out that there was some mago, and then they brought down they still confirmed the Frelimo as the party that won, but they reduced the margin to about 65%. Obi didn't do that, because if he had done that, maybe that's what would have happened. Bloodshed and all that and all that. So for a man to stand there and to say, this is what I think, this is the way I think Nigeria should move, these are the ills, these are my suggestions, and I think it takes, and then to say that even as I'm doing this, I've gone through a lot, threats to me, threats to my life, threats to my family, and so on and so forth, and because I'm speaking, and that is even difficult to do this. Meanwhile, obedience are feeling that Gobi, is not pushing hard enough. My point, what I just want to say is that, you see, we don't like the truth. As for Moka, I don't have any good words for him, because for me, he didn't debunk anything that will be said. He just went personal, and a lot of the things that he said was lie. And I heard him when he was saying again, after when he came up again on Arise, that he had threats to his life for 400 people at least, 200, said they will kill him, they will do that, they will do that, they will do that, they will do that. I think it's disgraceful. That is the level at which people have degenerated, because they want to see something that they will eat. And I feel sorry for him. I feel sad for him. Because when all these things pass, all this whole thing is in the internet. And they will bring it out. Just as they are bringing that of Wike when he was praising Odili and saying that if I ever say anything against you, let so thing happen to him. And so he was cursing himself. And now he's singing a different thing. That is a typical Nigerian politician. They don't have conscience. They don't have morals. They don't think of tomorrow. They are thinking of their stomach and what they will eat. And I think it's unfortunate. I think Obi's message was spot on. I can't fault anything that he has said. And I think it was right. As an opposition, it was the right thing to do. And even Atiku said a little bit of it. So it's either we want to run democracy or don't want to run democracy. Because if you go back, when these particular people were in opposition, they did worse things to Jonathan. And Jonathan didn't do them anything. So we have to decide whether we really want to run democracy or not. You don't expect Obi to come out and begin to praise him. Oh, you did very well. You did this one. You did. No, that's not what opposition does. My opposition doesn't do that. So it is unfortunate. And I think that for even failing to come and apologize, to say, okay, I'm sorry. But instead of coming to grandstand to say, I didn't say it, I was misunderstood. I mean, Nigerians are not daft. They can speak the English language. They can understand it. And I think somebody would have been telling him that, Oga, you didn't do well. You. And in terms of...
there's a word I'm trying to look for. Did they say it gaffed over here? He actually messed up big time. Big time. Sorry for interjecting you. He went further as far as to say he has crossed the line and he should, whatever comes to
and
him.
he threatened him. And he's now saying that he doesn't...
Yeah. I think somebody said it. Someone said that Mocha is now struggling to defend his lives. Is struggling to defend his threat to. You can see internet don't lie. Internet records everything.
Yes, I was listening to a lady who was saying if it's only 400 obedience that threatened him, that is lucky, that they like him. If it's just only 400,
I don't subscribe to threats either coming from obedient or from anybody.
No. What you're saying? No,
I'm sorry, I don't
support.
Mr. Tony. Hold on. KJ, are you there? Because my system is acting up, so I don't want it to go off. At least KJ can come and continue. KJ, are you there? Okay, just go ahead. Sorry about that.
I don't support any type of threat. I have on this platform. I have been one of those who standing against revolution and so on, the kind of things we're having in Mozambique because of election. Because innocent people will suffer. There is no just one way of trying to solve a problem. There are many ways. So you look at the one that will achieve your result and not causing casualty or devastation to the nation. So, and that's what I stand for. Now, I'm not saying that Moka should be threatened, but he himself is the one that went over the line, over the bar. What he said. Let him go and play it and listen to it. What he said is demeaning. What he said is absolutely bunkum. What he said is infradig. No reasonable person, no person who is educated like himself will say that kind of nonsense because you want to gain cheap popularity and please those who are employing you. That's how debased to say that a man spent 8 years, he didn't do anything, nothing, he didn't. Of course, we know that's a lie. And to threaten a man to say that whatever he gets, and then you say it's not a threat, and so on and so forth. You didn't address the issue. You didn't address the issues to say, okay, you said so. That's not true. We have done this, we have done that, we have done that. Obi was addressing the issues, but he was attacking personalities. And that just shows a wide difference between the two personalities. One is a distinguished person, one is one that is a patriot, one is one that believes in the in moving the nation forward, and one is just a hanger-on in the corridors of power. And that is what
because when the question I think anyone should have asked him is this: okay, let's say P2B is a prophet of for the purpose of argument. in regarding to his media address, what statement did he make that constitutes him to be a prophet of doom? If we go by that idiom of what of a prophet of doom, somebody who always predicts negative things or bad things, who removed the fuel subsidy? Is it Peter B or Tinubu? So who is the prophet of doom here? Who says when he was asked? To be honest, Tinubu won't do him anything. If it was a good government that Moka come here to say, they will remove him from that position and just say, you know what, what do they call it? Collateral damage to us. So we need to remove you ASAP. Thank you, but I'll come to you, Blackstone. You happen to be a prophet before. I don't know why you decide not to be a prophet again. So
Where was that? Please, can
allegedly.
allegedly?
Let me protect
Yeah.
myself. Let me bulletproof myself.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but let's remove this prophet of doom, because really we know it's not a prophet of doom. In the matter of P2B's media address, APC has come out. The threat it's actually like what Mr. Tony said. Felix Maka actually crossed the line, to be honest, for making that threat, because somebody will just go. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. Somebody will just go and kill P2B now, and it will be on the head of Moka. And that's why they say threat is never good. Never threaten anybody when it comes to something. The floor is just Blackstone to go into this.
Thank you. Anyway, I listened to both the response from Mr. Moka and even the interview he did yesterday on Arise News. I was so surprised that yesterday was denying everything, trying to repair the damages he has done. You understand me? Obi gave an honest assessment of the government. Right? There was nothing wrong or bad from what.
Sorry for interjecting you, KJ. I will have to leave the platform for you. Are you okay? You can finish anytime you want to finish. Or are you free to take over? Or after
Just 10 minutes,
Blackstone?
10 minutes or 20 minutes.
No, it depends on you how long you want to stay.
Yeah, because I have my hands full.
Okay, let's Blackstone finish, then we bring it to Blackstone, go ahead. The floor is yours.
So I don't see any reason why Mr. Moka have to respond to the press briefing of Peter Obi. You know, this has always been the issue of APC right from the very beginning. Even since Tinubu came into power, anyone that speaks about Tinubu performance that is not doing well, they will always come and attack as an attack dog on that person. They all know, can Moka come and say Nigeria progressing or Nigeria is the progressing? Can he boldly say what Tinubu government has done to bless Nigeria? He said he came with a renewed hope. He came with a renewed shake on people. So what can he now say that the benefit Nigeria is enjoying from this Tinubu administration? You know, so there are now more poverty. Nigeria become one of the poorest country in the world. I was talking to somebody today that India there was more poor people in India. In fact, India was higher in Nigeria in the poverty rating, but Nigeria have overtaken them. Right? India, that's 1.5 billion people, 1.30 billion people. Nigeria is about 220 million people. So now we have more people in poverty than even India has. So it is a shame anyway, because Moka is actually, he disgraced himself, actually. So like you said, you should respect him. I don't respect anybody who are in the government, because before they came there, they might be good, they might be truthful, might be safe, but once they come to the government, they become a lying dog. They become number one liars. You know, this has always been it. And like you said, KJ, that Tinubu has at least a maximum of 8 years to stay if he can stay up to 8 years. After 8 years, what happened? Is the life going to, is smoker life going to continue like it is today, or is it going to try to rebrand this image again, and so on and so forth? We are seeing people as being spokespeople, media people for different governments, what they become after they leave that government, after that government comes to an end. So it is time the whole should learn, right? You can't begin to attack people personally. They're supposed to respond in a positive, respond to the statement, to the assessments of Peter Obi, but you are entering personal attack on him. Same thing they did to the Basanjo. Anybody that talk against them, they come back and attack that person without even responding to what they presented, to their presentation, things like that, to their assessment of the government. So that's to tell you that this is what the people in government are. So no matter how they were before they came to the government, once they get there, they become a different person altogether, because they are making they are feeding from the government, they are feeding from their lies, they are feeding from their stupidity, and so on and so forth. So it is a shame that him that can come out like that and declare that and say, Obi, I've crossed the line, and whatsoever happened to him, he caught for it. That's the worst thing, that a man like that can come to the public TV station and say openly, and then come out to defend or to deny it, or to talk around it. That even made. In fact, it's mind blowing. Actually, I don't know what to say. You understand me? So whatever happened to Obi have already implied him that whatever happens to him, they know, or near his family, they should hold them responsible. They already implied.
You see, that is the sad thing about threat, which I said. Mocha, like I said, an innocent person we don't pray for it. We just go and pipe it to be just going to be on the head of Felix Smoke, and he can never wash himself clean from it. Like what is go ahead.
It was almost the same thing that happened to Donald Trump now, when they were always pushing Donald Trump, that now people try to assassinate him and things like that. So same thing, So when you begin to lay the ground, or lay the ground for a reason for assassination and so on and so forth, also somebody will do it, and then to be upon those that be talking about it, or be going to the press to make statement like that and things like that.
He has a saving grace, which is for him to come out, retract the statement, and apologize. Like
he had his chance yesterday. He had his chance yesterday, but he did not.
Yeah.
Was also
there's still time. There's still time. Let's give him time. Sometimes
proud people will never retrieve that.
No, don't say that. No. I've retrieved my statement.
I said proud people. So people like him,
proud people. I thought you said black people. I apologize.
No, I said proud people.
Okay. What is display on the screen there? We want Nigeria to change, and yet we don't want casualties. How do we want to achieve that? KJ, I'll give you 1 minute to answer that, to weigh into what is, 2 minutes to weigh into what is on the screen before I'll give each of us 2 minutes each. We want Nigeria to change, and yet we don't want casualties. How do we want to achieve that? There should be a question mark at the end of this thing.
I don't know how we're going to achieve that.
Okay.
There cannot be any struggle without
casualties.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have tried it in the past. It didn't work. You see, those are nature we have all fallen into right now. It's even going to take us back further away from achieving the goals that we have set out for ourselves.
KJ, flesh and blood have not revealed that word to you. The docility. I was in the shower, and that word just popped into my brain, into my head, honestly speaking.
Yeah. Well, like people that is in the coma. Whatever you do, just say go ahead and do it. Then we turn to our neighbors and then fight our neighbors, do this. But that same power we use to fight our neighbors, we can't channel it to fight the government that impoverished all of us. Instead, we just say whatever they do. Nobody only 4 years. Nobody only 4 years. We don't do nobody only 4 years since 1966 till today. We are doing nobody only 4 years. And we still do nobody only 4 years till Nigeria go past the 100-year mark. So I don't know. I don't have a solution.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tony, the floor is yours for 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes. in the matter of what is.
Well, I don't support bloodshed because I have seen bloodshed, and so it still rings in my mind because I really saw bloodshed and I was badly affected, and it didn't change anything. It brought the nation back. So I would do anything, I will support anything that will bring change, that would not lead to bloodshed. We have shed so much blood, and so that's my, and I believe that there cannot be one approach. Nimeri
Mr. Tony,
was
as the bloodshed shedding stopped, just last week alone,
Yeah,
we
the
had lost
bloodshed
over
hasn't
100 people.
stopped. Yeah.
yes, and
I'm coming, sir.
nobody.
Amnesty International say 140 over 1.4 million people either have been misplaced, displaced, or are no longer with us. What is not still going on?
What we're saying, there are very simple things that we can do, that will not lead to bloodshed. That there are other things. There cannot be one approach to a system. Nimeri was driven away, but just the bread riot removed him from office. There are things that we can do,
Such
that can.
as give an example, Mr. Tony. Sorry, I'm giving Mr. Tony one time. You said there are things we can do, such as.
Yes, so we have been talking about our institutions, and we keep emphasizing it.
How do we change those institutions? How do we change those human beings there,
Who
Mr.
is
Tony?
going to change the institution? The same people who are in the same
How do we change those?
power.
Because the institutions are human beings.
They
We
are
said this earlier. It's the
occupying-
citizens that will change that institution. The citizens have to rise up. To be honest, I know I don't support war. I don't support blood. Mr. Tony, if you read your Bible very well, in some situation, war. Look at David. David fought war all his life.
No,
Solomon only fought once.
That's entirely a different society.
How about the
Where
French Revolution? How about the French Revolution? How many people died there?
You are going back again and back again and back again to history. But there are countries where you've had revolution where blood was not shed. So what I'm saying is that, you see, we have to devise our own way of dealing with our problems. And there are many approaches.
Mr. Tony, you are killing me. You are killing me.
No.
We have to devise, what have we not devised so far?
Okay, let me
go ahead.
I'll give you an example. What we're looking for, what majority of Nigerians feel, that this system, what we have now, is not working. People are suffering. So we want to change. And in a democracy, one way of bringing change is through your ballot box. Now, I don't want people to drive me to extremes. I don't want people to say, we can look around and see what is happening in our neighboring countries and then maybe take a cue from that. I don't want to go to that extreme. But I'm saying that there are approaches, there are things we can do, So it's up to Nigerians. There are things we can do short of bloodshed, to change the system.
I am not a prophet of doom, but we cannot elect a good leader through the ballot box. It ain't going to happen. I'm not a prophet of doom, okay? But I'm telling you, with the way things are, we will not be able, we are unable to appoint a good leader, particularly this 2023 general election. And what is this INEC mass he's sitting down there? What's his name again? Can you remember his name? Mahmoud.
It's time
Yakub Mahmoud.
This year now. It's time to send it this year.
Whether he extends or not, the president has the full power to extend it if he wants to extend it.
Yeah, he has the full power to extend
and whoever the president brings in will not be different from Yakubu, probably worse, because he's going to play. He will play the pipe, he takes the tune.
You see,
electricity. This is it. I believe that if Nigeria know what they want, they will go for it. Let's take a cue from Ghana election that happened. That is their new president now. He lost election 8 years ago just for one reason, just for one simple reason, because at that time the electricity was having an issue. He could not fix it until maybe 2 weeks of the election. For that reason, they voted him out.
Good. That's one example. Sorry, 1 minute. That's a good example. That's a good example you just given. Go to Botswana. The ruling party lost.
The ruling party lost the election. Citizens that are not docile. We are talking about Nigerian citizens. About Nigerian citizens.
No, wait. We have to
Mr. Blackstone.
No, let me finish. Let me finish.
Mr. Blackstone, wait.
If people should continue this, if people should continue this argument, I'm coming here. Go ahead.
We have to learn. I said one thing.
Works.
Wait. KJ, wait. There's a how people vote that is for people to ring. If let me assume now, say, if maybe 10, 12, 15, 20 million people vote for a single person, how are they going to ring it to change that number? Let's be frank with ourselves. We, the citizens, don't even know who we have to vote for.
Blackstone. How many people voted for P2B that the number they did not change it? They did not turn off the beaver.
No,
they turn off the beavers.
They don't turn beavers, but turn off the beavers. Only record the number of active people. You understand me?
Okay.
The paper, the entry on the paper is what they still use as the people that have voted.
Okay.
You understand me?
Blackstone, they turn it off so that they can carry out their fraudulent act. Because if it's not off, what is on the beavers? Those who were accredited at the polling station will also be the same amount of people that complete.
Electricity.
Wait. No, excuse me, sir. Hold on first. Yes. You can be accredited. Nobody knows who you voted for.
No, you don't understand. What I'm saying is you can be accredited, nobody knows. But the amount of people that were accredited is the same amount of people that will vote.
Electricity.
Yes,
electricity. We had attempts to manipulate the election, the governorship election in Abia State. Somebody stood and said, no, over my dead body, it will not happen. They called the person to Abuja. He came back and he still stood and defended the Constitution. It is possible for things to change.
All right. We'll wait for, hopefully we will take cue from...
if Nigerians know who they want, who Nigerians know what they want, that is it, they know who to vote for. That is it. I'll give an example. For example, I'll give an example. You understand me? Right? Let me not take people from the east as Peter Obi. If all the Igbo people in Nigeria were eligible to vote for Peter Obi, will Tinubu ever win? That's the question. How many Igbo people are eligible to vote in Nigeria?
I don't understand. You said if all Igbo people vote for Peter Obi.
Yes. I just take that as for example, right?
Yeah. Tinubu will still win that election.
No, let me just finish. I'm trying to bring us something right. If those people voted for him and plus other people from other part of Nigeria voted, what will be his vote? What will be the total number of votes he would have received? You understand me? And also, even the Labour Party, they made a mistake because they refused to pay the people who were their polling agents.
Blackstone. Let me tell you something. If Tinubu has 1 vote and Peter Obi have 991 million votes, Tinubu will still win that election. You want me to explain to you why?
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you go by his statement, Emilio come, it is my turn. If not for me, if not for me, Buhari wouldn't have been president. You know what that means? Meaning that there is a gentleman agreement somewhere. So the election is neither here or there. If not for me, such statements, if we have a good lawmakers, they're supposed to hold Tinubu in there to come and explain what does it mean if not for him.
But actually, if you are so proud, you know that even Buhari was not in support of Tinubu. Definitely.
But because there was a gentleman agreement, If not for me,
with the northern governors, that was
black. So if not for me, that fake car you have behind you, let's imagine that it's real. If not for me that bought that car for you, there was a gentleman agreement before I bought you that car. That when you come on this platform, you have to say what I told you to say. You don't have a choice.
Yes, that is why the citizens have the choice either to decide. So the citizens actually that decide who and rather I said if the number of people that voted for a candidate, they know how they voted for. They can come back and argue it. That is it. So it is when maybe for example, they said this election was the lowest turnout. And they had
sorry for interjecting you. That election was the only election that not even APC people rejoice on the streets.
Yes,
because I was on the ground.
If you look at the result that was declared, you find out that the opposition had more votes than the APC. If you put the votes of the opposition together, I think the strategy was that the opposition failed to come together as one, because if they came together as one and those votes went to one person and was not split between three people, there's no way that they can be manipulated, whether they put off beavers or whether they didn't put off beavers.
I'm trying to say, because if you know which voted,
what are you guys saying?
I don't understand. To be honest, I don't understand.
Now,
Now listen, we're looking at 36%, I mean 35%.
Mr. Tony, listen to me very well. There is gentleman agreement.
Let the whole Nigeria vote for Peter Obi.
He will not win.
Simple. And let me give you head start so you don't have to bother yourself about 2037. If you still do the same thing you want to do, if you like make all of Nagada, go and sit down, vote, go in a house, now you go still lose.
We're going to run a broadcast here. KJ mentioned 2031 now. Let me tell you, Sheyi Tinubu will be governor of Lagos State 2027, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
2031.
You people are playing God. You people are playing God.
When somebody came and said,
you are playing God.
How are we playing God?
Let me explain.
Let me ask a question. Have you heard about the electoral amendment being that is now in the house? Have you heard about the electoral amendment bill that now in the house?
Who is going to bring it? Akpabio? That is in the house.
No, it's not in the
house. You know why I say you people are playing God. You know why I say you people are playing God.
Tell us, preacher.
We once
is that that's what I'm voting.
Bros, Blackstone, leave this diaspora voting first. Leave this diaspora voting first. Man, I don't take this diaspora voting to see people.
I'm going to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
People in diaspora, we are always talking.
Yeah.
What are we doing to pursue or push forward our right to vote?
So that will change the result.
That will change the
narrative. Now, what I say electricity and KJ.
We are not prophet of doom.
You are playing God. You know why I say you are playing God?
No, sir.
And I don't go keep person for this.
I think I'll change your names to Mocha. Two of you. One will be Felix. One will be Mocha. You know.
You know why I say what I'm saying. You see, we have watched this over the years. It will be foolhardy for me to think that something is going to change. When you still have the headmaster who went to Ghana and came back after destroying the Nigerian election, came back from Ghana, told that he has now devised new ways for which is going to be to us.
Okay. Now listen.
He has devised new ways to handle people come 2027. Hold on. Igbos have a proverb that the masquerade that can dance you know it from his first step. Now, all the other offline elections we have run, okay, off-season elections in Nigeria, how did they turn out? So
Okay.
how do you think that magic is just going to happen in 2027?
That's why I say you are playing God now. You are playing. I didn't know that you can see what's going to happen.
But
Listen.
Mr. Tony, it is not about seeing what's going
No,
to happen.
let me make my point.
Earlier, you said the institutions, we should fix our institutions.
Yes.
INEC is part of the institution. Okay?
I have not been fixed.
Now,
Okay.
INEC
Now
is part
listen.
of the institution.
Okay.
The
Okay.
president, sorry, I'm not taking words from him. The president has the sole power to appoint an INEC chairman without even permission or scrutinization from the Senate or anything. He has the sole power.
You should have
The
asked me.
citizen.
You should
Okay,
have
go
asked.
ahead.
You should have asked
Go
me
ahead.
why did I say you are playing God?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes. We once had a head of state who was able to cow everybody. People were killed. People ran away. And then some people declared him to be life president, that he can commute to civilian president and become everything. And everything appeared to be going his way. But at the end of the day, we saw what happened. And the table turned. So when I say you are playing God, we can only see.
Please, who is the president? Can you remind? Can you educate me, please? Honestly, I don't know.
Don't put me in trouble. Don't put me in trouble.
I'm serious. I just want to know. just remind. Listen, I'm learning.
I didn't call anybody's name.
I'm not as educated as you and KJ and Blackstone. So what's the name of the president?
What we know, he has told you now. What we know is now. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
Okay,
we can't be certain. We can't be certain of what's going to happen tomorrow. We can only prognosticate.
Okay.
So
is it a passenger or Buhari? Blackstone, who is it? Is it Buhari? Abacha. Did Abacha turn to a civilian president? No.
Yes. No, he didn't say turn to. No, he said people were thinking maybe he might become a life president.
No, not might. Not might. They already have decided and voted and said that he will commit to become the life president. And he cowed everybody.
Who are the people that voted? The same military people, not the people.
So what I'm saying is that those who were powerful yesterday, they are no longer there today. The MPNs and all those that say they will rule for 60 years, they are not there today. So when we can only forecast, but we can't say for certain. You know.
Tony.
So when you make such, I take it to be prediction. I take it to be prognostication.
Okay,
because
whichever grammar you want to use is okay.
Unless you have become Nostradamus. Unless you have become Nostradamus, and you can see tomorrow.
We are looking at what is on the ground, right?
Anyway, let's see what happened in 2027, because
again I said Sheyi Tinubu will be governor 2027. If you like, tell us I'm a prophet of doom.
It's his father now. His father put him there. If his father is still
in 2031, when the father is leaving, he will be handing over the presidency to him. That's the way it works. That's the way it's going to work.
I hear you.
Okay. And remember, is it Jeroboam? Is it Jeroboam, Rehoboam, the son of Solomon? When he told the people, you see, this my small finger will be harsher than that of my father's son.
So what happened? What happened?
Is it, Solomon's son?
What happened now? Eventually, the kingdom was divided. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom.
It was divided, but that doesn't stop. That didn't stop. After Rehoboam, who became the Israelite leader?
Disaster followed. They all went to exile. They all went to exile. So all those things perished.
Okay. So if we do not stand up, whether we war, whether we want peace,
2027 is in 11 months' time to be on 2026. So now what?
Okay, KJ, they said you are a prophet of doom. I don't know about that.
No, KJ is Nostradamus. Let me be. He's my man. Let me be fair. He's Nostradamus. Let me give him that one.
Okay, all right, no problem. You can give him anything. Yeah, I do.
Go and write.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you for being here on a short notice, and as we call it a night, hopefully we shall see and meet again. So have a lovely night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
And good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Yeah, you get fight too. Don't worry. They laugh.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam, thank you so much. I can see you. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow.